I'm going to show you in this video how you can do a hidden spine binding if you're making a journal or a junk journal so that you can't see the stitching on the outside. That's what it looks like. So stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Fiona from Lavender Blue. Welcome back to my channel. Now in this video I'm going to show you how to do the spine binding, the hidden spine binding. So, which is binding so that you can't see the stitching on the outside of the spine. So I have showed this before on my channel, but it was a long time ago. So I'm going to do it with this journal. This is the Lavender Rococo kit, which will be linked in the description box if you're interested. So in the last video I did show you how to cut this out. So just to recap, my spine is 2 inches. I've got 3 signatures, and so this is 2 inches here, and I've put 3, 4, so it's 4 inches across, and then we've scored at 1 inch and 1 and 3 inches and folded, and then we measured for the where to put the holes. So if you haven't seen that previous video, I will link it at the end of this video so that you can go back and watch it. So all I'm doing at the moment is I'm going to miter these corners. It's not, you don't have to do it, but it just makes it a bit tidier. And I'm going to finish the inking. Now for me, this piece of purple cardstock it's too bright. It's a very bright purple, and I do want my journal to have a vintagey feel, so I'm just going to run over the whole thing. I mean, you won't see most of it, but you will see bits of it in between the signatures. I could cover it, but I'm just going to mute it down with my brown ink a little bit. Just looks a bit more grungy and a bit more aged. So, just doing that. There we go. That's a bit better. Not quite so bright. And there's a bit in there as well. Now what I've done since the last video is I've just covered the cover with a bit of fabric. This is just the base of it. Because I want this journal to have because the kit is mainly lavender or violet and gold, that's what I want the journal to have. The feel of the whole journal is like a, purple and gold. So this is just the base. It's creamy coloured. I think it might be curtain fabric or upholstery fabric that I found in the op shop. And I have got like some gold lace and other things that I'm going to do with the cover. I might do that in the next video, just depending on how long this video goes for. And I put some strips of lace top and bottom, and that was because you could see where I'd cut my fabric, you could see these little gaps here, and I didn't really like it, so I've covered it up with the lace. And after my signatures are sewn in, I may, if it's still showing, I may do something else there. And obviously I've still got to cover the inside, and I just put the book corners on. Now with the signatures, I've just, so just to recap, we've got some of the printed pages. I've got some coffee dyed papers, another printed page. These were pages I dyed with purple food colouring. It's a lined paper. I've got some tracing paper that I've printed on, some music paper, some more of that purple paper. We've got some more printed paper. And then I put a paper bag, just a paper lunch bag, and an envelope, and some craft paper, and then I've got my centre spread. So now, you want to decide now, before you sew the signatures in, whether you want to sew on any of your pages. If you want to sew anything on, you obviously want to pull your pages out and do it now. And what I've done is I've just sewn around the the front, just the front page of each signature. I've sewn around with a zigzag stitch because I think that looks nice. So I'm not going to sew on all of my pages, just the first one. And I've done all 3. And the next thing I've done is I've gone around with ink like this. So I'm going to do, I've done the first 2, I'm going to do the third one. So this is just to start off with. I just go around the whole signature with ink, because inking every single individual page takes a long time. And so I'll do this first, just for starters, and then as I go through and decorate my pages, if any of them haven't, you know, that I've missed, I'll go in and redo those ones. So I'm going to do that side, and then I'm going to do the other side like this. So it catches most of them, but it won't catch all of them, especially if they're uneven like mine. So that just gives you a start with your inking. Okay, so they are ready to go. So what I'm going to do is make a template. This is so that I can poke the holes in my signatures. So it just needs to be the same height as this piece, which is the same height as my signatures. So I'm just going to mark it here. Only needs a tiny bit to come off, and then it needs to be, well, actually it doesn't need to be the same width, so I'm just going to make it well, I'm just going to make it 2 inches, but I'm going to just mark out the center holes. Shall I make it 2 inches? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So I'll get my paper trimmer, just as long as it's the same height. Because you're going to use the same template for all 3 signatures. You don't need 3 different templates. Let's cut that to 2 inches. And then cut that little end off. the bin. I'm not going to keep that tiny little piece of paper. I'm already, you know, hoarding everything. Okay, so that's going to go on there like, so I'm going to move it across. And I'm going to, it needs to be folded in half first to find the centre. I'm going to fold it in half. And, well, possibly my voice. I've been sick all week. I don't know what it was. I've come down with some sort of a virus and I'm still getting over it. I'm still not feeling 100%. So excuse me if I, you know, don't sound enthusiastic or something. I'm just very, I'm still quite, what's the word, lethargic from it. But all week I haven't been able to do much. So I thought, well, I'm feeling a little bit better today, so I will get up and I will do something. So I'm just marking level with the holes here, first of all on the edge. And then I'm just going to get a ruler. And I'm going to go straight across so I can find the middle. That is where my first hole goes. Doesn't look right, does it? Oh no, I chose the wrong mark for the middle one. There was a mark there and I thought that was it. That's it there. Let's do one on the other side to make sure level. Okay, so that one's about right. And the next one all goes there. There we go. So all we need to do, and I'm going to use, I need to put something underneath. I'm going to use an old book. So first of all, I'm going to poke them in here. So I'm using my little poking tool. This is called an awl. So I'm just going to poke straight down. Okay, so my actual piece that I'm going to sew my signatures to has the holes in it, right? So now for the signatures. What we need to do with these is we need to, first of all, make sure all of your pages are where you want them to be, right? Make sure they are all in the right spot. And I'm going to get some clips, some bigger clips. I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to put one maybe here. I did have three, but I'm not sure where the other one's gone. So then you put your little, actually make sure that's the top. I mean, I think I did it even from the top and bottom, but I just want to make sure in case I didn't. So you put it in there so it's exactly lined up with the page. And then we just, that's a bit heavy on there, I'm going to clip that on there. And I'm going to clip this one on there. And be careful they don't move. And then all I'm going to do is pierce my holes straight down. Straight down through that hole. I'm going to make sure I've gone all the way through actually. Yep. Side. And this one. So that's how we do that. Put my clips back on. I am going to need more clips. Let's see. So I'm just getting them even, and I hope that I've shifted them a little bit, so I just want to make sure I'm lined up. Yep, good. So then, yeah, just make sure they're clipped in place for when you sew them in. Signature one. We're doing the second one. Some people get intimidated by binding signatures, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not that hard. I will be showing you some other ways of binding. I think I've already shown the accordion binding. I have a video for that, which actually I kind of like it, but actually it took a long time. It's probably not something I would do again, but there are some other ways of binding that look pretty interesting and a bit easier than this. Which I'll show you in another video. Okay. Just a second, that's my first. Now, I always start with the last signature because then you're sewing the last one into the right hand side, right? And then you've got the next one to go on top, and then the next one to go. Because if I do the first one first, I find it a bit hard to, you know, get in to do the other ones. So anyway, you can do it either way, but this is the way that I do it. So I was tossing up between using this purple twine, but I've used twine before, and sometimes I've found that it's a bit too thick and it just makes the holes really big. And then I found that I had this gold thread, and because I want a purple and gold theme, that's not sure if that's thicker or actually about the same. Now the other option is a lot of people just use dental floss because it's very strong and you can't see it. It's very, very strong and flexible. So what I'm going to do is get my little needles out and decide if that is too thick or not. Because I also have my, that's almost a vintage gold, isn't it? This is my waxed thread. I might even just use that, to be honest, because it is going to be a lot easier. Because wax thread just, you know, it just slides through quite easily, and yeah, I like the colour of that, so I'll go with that. I will use this in the journal, like, you know, on some tags or cards or whatever when I'm decorating. Let's get a needle. Now these are all bookbinding needles because they came in a kit. So I'm just going to choose. I don't want one too thick. Let's just see this one, because I have trouble threading the thin ones. Yep, it's fine. So for the length, I'm going to do 1, 2. I'd normally do 3 heights of my book, but I'm going to do 4 because I think I want to hang some charms off the bottom. So I'm doing it longer. Hopefully that'll be long enough. I'm going to leave a fairly long end when I do it so that it's going to dangle down the bottom. So, okay, so what I do is start in the middle of your signature on the inside. And I'm going to pull it through and leave an end. Now I'm going to want mine reasonably long, aren't I? And you can just clip that. It helps if you clip that so it doesn't keep coming out. And then you would go through the middle of your template. Just like that. Then I'm going to come back down. You can come down or up, it doesn't really matter. Whoops, did I just hit the camera, I think? Sorry guys. So I'm going to come down through that, then through the signature. Make sure you're in the middle. It's not the right hole, is it? Must be. It's the only hole. It's the only hole there is. Oh yeah, I see it. I see it. It's just my eyes. Pull that through, right? Oops, we're getting all twisted. Oh, it's upside down. There we go. I can see why it looks kind of intimidating, because you can get a bit twisted, but it's fine. Then I'm going to come all the way to the top and go. Make sure that's okay. Make sure it's tight. Then go through the top in here. And then back through the middle. When you go back through the middle, try not to split the thread that's already in there. So next to that thread. And this is a good time to make sure it's all tight on the inside and the outside. Yep. Through that one. Now, let me see. Yes, I have left it long enough. So actually, I could probably just rearrange this a little bit so that the ends are a bit more even. I wonder if I can pull. I wonder if I can pull some of that back out. Now this is only because I want to hang some, as I said, I want to hang some, you know, dangles at the bottom. So you wouldn't normally have to worry about it, but there we go. Now they're both long. And pull them tight. Now when you tie them, just put, if they're both on the same side as the middle thread, put one on the opposite side. Just put it under. And then you're tying it around the middle thread, so it helps to keep it nice and tight. One knot. 2 knots, just a granny knot, and that should hold in place. But if you want to do 3 knots, you can. And actually I'm not going to cut those, am I? They're very long though. Let's just put them inside. I might clip them just so that they're not going to get in the way while I'm doing the other signatures. Otherwise I can see that I will get myself in a tangle. Okay, so that doesn't need to be on there anymore. So that one's all sewn in nicely. Now all we do is the same with the second one. Thread the needle. I'm going to do is I'm going to use double-sided tape and glue, because that way the double-sided tape will hold it down until the glue dries. And I just find that it's going to glue down the edges. Make sure the edges are glued down properly. But I'm just putting it on the edges and on these edges here, like either side of the stitching. You can put it on the stitching, it doesn't really matter. I might do it across the bottom and top as well. Especially as I've got lace there. Lace here and here. And I'll burnish them down properly in a minute. Let's just cut the extra bits off. This one. Okay. And then I will do the top and bottom as well. It's not perfect, but it's okay. It's just going to help to hold it while the glue's drying. Because you do want this bit to be strong, you don't want your pages to fall out. So use a fairly strong glue if you can. So what I'm going to do now is just peel off the backing. Over the top, and mine is a clear tacky glue, but it could be a PVA glue, it could be you know, some people use, I think it's called 3-in-1, or a fabric glue, but definitely putting the double-sided tape down, because it's quite strong, it definitely helps hold it in place. Put the glue all the way around the edges and all over. There we go. I think I have enough. Just move all my threads down here. Now what you want to do is center it, and I'm going to stand up so I can see what I'm doing. So you want to equal from the top and the bottom. So I'm just centering it so that I've got the same distance at the top and the bottom. And just finding the fold. Which is there. This side. Yep. And I'm going to press it down. Now you might get a little bit of puckering when you close the book. That's always going to happen until the glue dries and settles down a little bit. Just get my little bone folder in there to those edges. That's good. Then I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to crease, make sure that crease is stuck in as well. Just down like that. Okay, so then I would wait for that to dry. Just sit my little book like this and just wait for that to dry in place. The best way is to, when you've got this all burnished down and in between the signatures as well, here and in between these two as well, is to put a clip like this, and your pages will sit up, and let it dry like that. Okay, so I've waited about 10 minutes and I think everything is dry. So then that is what it looks like. It's all glued in nice and tight, and then you're ready to decorate your inside covers however you like. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.